1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll be starting here shortly. Just want to confirm that we've got the live stream set up. And it looks like we are live. Okay. All right, welcome back to City Valley Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team. Got an impromptu live stream here on YouTube. And in this case, we got some questions to answer related to some upcoming Texas rainbow trout stocking, I guess, upcoming stockings. In this case, we've got one happening here in Bethany, our home location. So let's go and first answer some of the questions. So we've got 3 questions come in so far. One was related to some best places to fish at Bethany. And I think Bethany gets stocked tomorrow. So that's the Bethany Lakes Main Pond C. And then another question was about weather and maybe fishing this Saturday. Maybe I think the temperatures are going to drop. So hopefully we're going to answer the mail on that one. And then the last one was about the good fishing flies to use. So we'll just talk about that and hopefully answer the mail. So let's go shift over to, this is Bethany Lakes. And let me go and shift things around a little bit and see if I can get, let's move this pop out window here in case anyone has any questions that come up. Go move that over here. Okay. Okay, so first things first, this is Bethany Lakes, and it's in the city of Allen. And its planned stocking is actually tomorrow. So those who are able to break away from work, maybe go around there from, I'd say, 9 to noon, and maybe it might show up. I think over the years it's been showing up around, around noontime, around 10, 11, 12, 1. Not sure for sure, not exactly when it shows, but usually if you're there around the daytime, it'll show up. And it's that trout stocking truck. And let me drill down to the pond that's going to be stocked. It's going to be this one right here, this horseshoe shaped one with a pavilion and a little pier area right here. And the question was related to what are some good places to fish for those trout. Well, when they stock, they may stock over here. They may stock over here where the truck drives in. What we've seen is normally in this area. But that said, you should be good to go to fish, be it on this side or that side. They're eventually going to move over to both ends of this pond. And what we find, usually this area right here is really brushy, but this corner is usually a good one to start out with. It's kind of high. And then all along this area is good, but you just have to watch for the breaks in the brush and maybe some flat areas. And then this whole area right here, as they start congregating and making their circle around the pond, that's also a good area. And then along here is good, and this pier. So really, it's just going to be based on the pattern and where they release the trout. But over the course of the next few days, if not into the week, where I normally start going is anywhere along this bank, anywhere along here, this corner here, off this point. See if I can get closer. There's the pier area. That's usually good for some bait. Right here is also a good spot. And then all along here, especially this corner, when it gets really cold, deeper areas, so about this area here. These are some warming pipes or tubes. It's very shallow though. I've caught some trout there in the past, but most of the time I concentrate in this area here, along this area over here, and around the little peninsula looking thing. So hopefully that answers the mail. What I would suggest when you come fishing here is it's going to get crowded, so just kind of watch for some openings and be able to fish. If you want to get there early, definitely get there early, and you should be good to go picking out the spot you want to fish. Let's see, the other question was related to cold. It's supposed to get cold this Saturday, and what I've noticed in the past when the temperature changes is the trout will still be biting. It's just you got to find the pattern. Especially the pattern that we're talking about is they could be biting on lures, they could be biting on fishing flies, they could be biting on bait. Typically with bait, cast it out to a likely area, let it sit bottom and kind of float off the bottom if you're using power bait, and usually get some hits there. The other thing is look for activity. They'll be there for about 4 days by the time the weekend rolls around, and you'll start seeing them kind of surface along the area, on the surface, breaking surface, as well as popping the surface. And not sure what they'll be eating at times, but what we noticed usually in the first week or so, they'll start acclimating to the pond and start shifting from just whatever lures and whatnot, and start actually feeding off some of the hatches that'll be happening. And it's weird this time of year, but we've noticed it's been consistent over the years. Is there's this little, I don't know what to call it, black midge hatch, and you'll start seeing them kind of surface around the middle of the pond. And what works is basically fishing a fly with a black midge or some kind of mosquito-like looking lure that is a dry fly. Other times you'll see folks using the bubble fly rig or a spoon and fly rig and get it out there in the middle, because that's where they'll be kind of cruising along. So keep that in your back pocket when it comes to weather change. In this case, going from warmer to colder. Haven't really seen an issue with the trout shutting down when it gets cold, especially we've had them biting when it's been freezing and breaking ice at times. Not here, but up in Waterloo, up in Denison, and they were still biting. Power bait was working for us in those times when it came to bait, but we always keep corn, we always keep salmon eggs and mouse tails, power worms, trout worms, the whole bit. Or was it trout magnets? Those have been always a good one. And then of course you got the super dupers and rooster tails. And so I wouldn't worry too much about the weather being cold on Saturday for the trout bite. More important is to dress warm, because if it is a slow bite, you definitely will fish it longer if you're warmer. My suggestion there is go for it on Saturday. Just dress warm. Let's see, fishing flies. So I'll break out the question concerning fishing flies to lures including fishing flies. And so the other day when we went to Glen Rose, brought this little pack here. Let's see if I can shift over to the other screen. Okay. And in here, got some Magnum floating power bait. Right here, this little yellow floaty thing. It's cleaner to use than power bait, trout bait. Got salmon eggs. That's what they were hitting the other day also at Glen Rose. And got the glitter power bait, glitter trout bait, rainbow color, so it's got different colors. So we have that ready. And then whole kernel of corn. Got the one that you can just pop open, and it's a smaller size, and you just have that ready. Whatever's on sale. This is from Great Value Walmart, so it's ready to go. Mouse tails, power worms. Okay, so those are the other baits we have. And then shifting over to lures. Let's go pop this one open. I got this little deal here. Got super dupers. Okay, this is in a silver with a red head or tip. Got gold or brass is what it's also called here. Also, well, I used to have copper. I always like having copper in there as well, but I don't have any. But of course, would suggest having that too at the ready. And then got rooster tails. In this case, I've got a black one. I used to use a chartreuse, but then I shifted over to a fire tail because it had the orange as well as the chartreuse. And then I've got white also. And I got those set up on ultralight rigs as well as spin casting gear. Locked into, someone gave us a bunch of spin casting gear, and we've been using that, and pretty much been having about 5 of these rods ready to go, so I can just keep switching lures and whatnot. And then speaking of the spin spoon and fly rig, we'll take one of these Castmasters, take the hook off, and add the fly as a trailing about 10 inches from there, and we'll have our spoon and fly rig. And in fact, I have one already ready on the set of poles back there. The other one is also have a bubble fly rig. In this case, I've got the one, not just the bubble, but it's the one that's the adjustable bubble that you can open. And let's see, I think I have it up here somewhere. It's back over there. Hold up real quick and I'll grab it. All right, I'm back. Okay. All right. Before we go there, let me go and make sure no one's sending anything chat-wise in case I need to answer that question. I do have the chat window up. It's just I'm not really paying attention to it too well. So here, let me just say hi. Okay. All right. So here's the other rigs that we have. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 spin casting rods. We got the ultralight spinning gear. They also keep a fly rod, but for probably tomorrow I'll just bring this along with the ultralight spinning rod. And right here is a silver super duper with a red head. Right here is a spoon with a trailing fly. In this case, I'm trailing a rainbow midge, but other flies I would trail would be the rainbow midge, as well as a gold rib hare's ear nymph, woolly bugger, as well as the it's called the pistol Pete. It's got a little propeller on it. Those are always good to bring. And of course, when we mentioned about the midge hatch or whatever hatch would have some of these Griffiths gnat or maybe a black midge, also use with that bubble fly rig. Or if I'm able to cast with my fly rod, I'll do that. But normally, first few days, a lot of people out there, I'll hold off on the fly rod and just bring just spin casting, ultralight gear, etc. Here's that other rooster tail right here. This is the fire tail, so it's got orange as well as chartreuse mixed into it. And then here's that adjust bubble. Okay, so you just put your line through there, twist it. If you want to add more weight to it, you can pop it open and let water come in, and then we'll have that fly rigged on there as well. So that's the rig we'll use. From suggested lures, we mentioned the super duper, we mentioned the rooster tails, Castmasters, and I tend to like the Castmaster because I usually use that one as a spoon and fly rig, because then it's got a heavier weight for its size. Going in to answer the question concerning suggested fishing flies. So gold rib hare's ear nymph. See, I got it buried in here. That's some fairly good size ones in here as well. Some smaller size 16, size 14, size 18. Those are good. The Rainbow Warrior's good. Griffiths gnat, in case they're on top, as well as fish it wet. Those are good along with black midges. Also, instead of the woolly bugger, I'll tend to use these. It's called the near deer, but recently I've been using the rubber-legged near deer. So it's basically a woolly bugger, but it's on a jig head. 124 ounce, and it's got some rubber legs on there. And for some reason lately I've been noticing that the trout like to hit on rubber legs. But if you don't have one of these, you can get an olive woolly bugger and they'd be good to go also. Also these mop flies tend to be good to they've been working on the blue. I've noticed having some good hits on them as well at these stuck trout ponds. So have those at the ready. Let me grab this one. This is the Pistol Pete that I mentioned. Okay, you get these at Cabela's. It's got a little propeller on there. I see a lot of folks use this with the bubble fly rig. And then here's the standard Guadalupana that I usually have in the fly box Looks like an olive woolly bugger, but it's made with peacock herring. It's got a dry fly wrapped hackle, and then marabou, and it makes for a big target for the fish to take. And then for those that do some fly fishing, I definitely like having that strike or cork strike indicator. It's made out of balsa wood. It's got a rubber gasket and it doesn't slip. I've been using those airlocks as well, but I tend to notice that these work a little bit more, well, they don't tangle as much compared to some of the other strike indicators that I've used, or they're easier to untangle. Mentioned on dry flies, this is the Griffiths gnat right here. This one I'll fish wet, as well as on the surface dry. Again, about a week into the trout stocking, at least at Bethany, you'll start noticing that they'll be feeding more on the surface, especially come the evening time frame around 4 or 5 o'clock. And that one's always good to always have those dry flies ready to go in case they start biting. All right, so I'm hoping that answered the mail. Oh, let's see if I got some other stuff in here. Oh, this is one that we found or used on the Blue with the recommendation of some folks fishing on the Blue River. It's a place that's in Oklahoma, about 2 hours, hour 45 minutes from here in Allen, across the border. And it's the mega worm. And I haven't really fished the mega worm in the trout stocking ponds in Texas yet, but I'll probably do so. And so I keep that at the ready. So it's almost like a mop fly, but a little bit longer, or actually much longer. And I use a heavier jig to bring it down into the water column. And what we notice is as it hits the bottom and you pop it up, or as you kind of let it drag along the bottom, that's when the trout will hit it, at least what we've been seeing up in the Blue. Using it like the mop fly, at least when we fished over there in Pottsboro, as well as Waterloo, about 3-4 foot under the strike indicator, and we were able to get some good hits there. So just to recap, places to fish at Bethany. Let's answer that question again, just to make sure we clarify. Here's the Horseshoe Pond. Here's the Horseshoe Pond. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 ponds at Bethany Lakes, but it's going to be this one that's going to be stocked right here, the horseshoe shaped one. You can park in this area, right immediately over here. And suggested place to fish just basically all along here, along the shoreline. It's just going to be a little bit steeper here, less steeper here. Got a little peninsula-like thing. You got a pier, and right in this corner here, along this area. If you can access this area, there's a lot of trees there, and it's pretty high up. It may be a little bit tough for you, but these would be places to hit. You can try over here as well if you can get down in there. Just be careful. You may slip into the water. You may be a little bit steep as well, but if you can access it, and if you're using your gear and whatnot, be able to just stay away from the brush and whatnot, you should be able to get an opportunity to get a trout that way as well. Related to the weather, just the question concerning weather, will they bite in the cold? Yes, they will. Just dress warm and be ready to adjust. Let's see, from Priyank Patel, do you know what time they are stocking? I don't know when they're stocking. What I've seen over the years is anywhere between 9 to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock is what I've seen. Most often it's really around the 10, 11 o'clock time frame. I think one year they showed up right at about 11, but they didn't actually start stocking till about an hour after that. But big thing is you can call ahead and just call the Texas Freshwater Fisheries Center and get confirmation as to at least a anticipated or estimated time when they stock. But if you get there around noon, you should be able to start fishing shortly after. And what I normally do is I'll see the tire tracks, and that'll tell me where they stocked. And like I said in the past, they have stocked typically down in this area is where the truck comes in the parking lot, drives along this road here, comes out behind these trees, and they stock over here, and then the trout just go all over the place after that. And then one year they came over here over this high section and dropped the trout there. So I hope that kind of gives you an answer as to the stocking. My plan, I got to work tomorrow, so I'll probably stop by after work and just at least get an idea what's out there, see how folks are doing. May or may not fish. I've got my little live streaming mobile setup now, so let's see if I can grab it here. Right here. So shift back over here. So hopefully I can put my phone here and give you some live stream information while I'm right there at the pond, letting you know what I see. All right. Other than that, let's see. The other question concerning the cold. Yes, trout will continue to bite when it's cold. Temperature changes in the weather. Really, it's just determining what the pattern is, and usually early morning. Usually get a good opportunity to get some of the trout there, and then later in the evening when they start biting. And then somebody had suggested, and I think it's pretty close, is depending on what the feeding time is for a particular hatchery is usually when they start feeding. And I think one year they started wanting to eat sunrise till about 9 o'clock, and then they stopped. And then about midday, around 1, 2 o'clock, boom, they start feeding again. And then they'd stop, and then they start feeding again right at sunset, about an hour to 30 minutes before it got dark. And then, but it changes. I've been out there, park closes at 11. I've been out there 9, 10 o'clock getting a limit, and then heading home after that. So main thing is if you have the opportunity, time to fish, go for it. Because usually other things get in the way. So, all right. Hopefully that answered that question. Going back to lures, just to recap, we'll start out with baits. So I'll have in my little bag with me power bait, Magnum trout nuggets. These are the floaty kind that are already preformed and kind of rubbery or plasticky. I'll have these power bait, natural scent glitter and rainbow because it's got all the different colors, so I'll have to go get all these different ones. And then I'll have salmon eggs, and then I'll have corn. All right. And then I always keep some bread in the car, so I always have that ready to go in case they want to start feeding on bread. And then some years I'll bring in some Velveeta cheese or marshmallows. But overall, right now I just have these baits in my little travel trout bag. Power worms and mouse tail handy. Mouse tail baits, didn't know about them until this year. Oh yeah, Austin Turnbow. Oh, okay, thanks for joining, Austin. Yeah, mouse tails are awesome, and keep that in your back pocket because later on, hopefully they'll stock again on the Trinity TRWD Fly Fest in March of next year. That seems to be the go-to bait when it comes to fishing over there at Trinity River when they stock it with some really nice trout. And we've done really well with the mouse tails. Let's see, from a lure standpoint, just recapping again. Here. There's my spin casting gear that was given to us. Super duper. That one's ready to go in silver, as well as I've got a gold. Got the firetail rooster tail. Okay, like having that ready to go right up here. And got a Castmaster that I use as a spoon and fly rig. So there's the Castmaster, and there'll be a trailing fly. I think I took it off already, or no, it's back down here. Right now I've got a rainbow midge. I may switch it over to a rainbow warrior midge. I may switch it over to a gold ribbed hare's ear nymph as well. And then I've got the adjust bubble spoon or for bubble fly rig fishing. Okay. I normally do fly fishing when I go out there, but since it may get crowded and then it's you know, pretty tight spaces, and I gotta try these out. These I use this at Glen Rose, and I was able to switch fly or lures quickly without having to worry about retying. So that was kind of nice. And I know it's a 2-rod limit, so when I'm out there fishing, I'll definitely make sure that I only have 1 rod in the water when I'm fishing bait, and then I'll have so you have the other rod where I'm using it, and the other ones will be laying there. Definitely make it very clear to the game warden that I'm only fishing with 2 rods at a time. I will bring the GoFish camera. Maybe get some underwater video. First chance I get. And hopefully I can post some of that footage out there. Let's see. Out of Fort Worth, so look forward to. Yes. Trinity River over there by the Acme Brick Company. They'll fish a section that's more upriver. Actually, no, I think it's downriver. Yeah, it's more downriver from their normal stocking over there at River Park. And that's where they'll stock it with some fairly nice sized fish. I think it's some 8-10 pounders at times. And we got some old videos that you just do a quick search, COAF TRWD Fly Fest. You'll see it on Google and all the videos we posted there. Let's see. Last thing on lures, fishing flies. So one, we'll definitely have these, be it an olive woolly bugger or woolly bugger style worm or fishing fly. We use basically the near deer right here, and I've got a pink one in this case with these rubber legs, but I have pink, a white, as well as an olive near deer handy. Have a Guadalupana, which is sort of like a woolly bugger as well. Those are good. And then we'll have, let's see, the Guadalupana, and then keep these mop flies handy right here, some mop flies, and then I'm going to try these mega worms that we've done well in the past. And then I have some of these, they're called Pat's rubber legs right here that I've been using in preps for the blue. I may try that as well out there just to see how that one works. And hopefully I can get some good updates maybe on some of those fishing flies. All right, Axel. Hey, COF. Upsurge. Hi, COF. Okay. Hi, Axel. Hi, Upsurge. What day are you fishing Bethany Lakes? I'll probably go out there tomorrow evening. If I'm not fishing, I'll probably do some live streaming just to give a quick update as to how the action's going over there and telling folks what we see. And if I do have an opportunity to do some fishing, I'll probably use the spin casting stuff. So it'll be later, typically after 5 o'clock, since I gotta work the day job. All right. I think that's pretty much all I had this round. If anyone has any other questions, definitely put it in the comments, and hopefully I can answer the mail as soon as I can. And if not, ping me either in the comments or I think we've got our Facebook page, as well as we've got Twitter, all those social media stuff. But there's a way to get a hold of us. Let's see. How long do you think, from Upsurge, how long do you think it will be until all the fish are caught? Oh, shoot. What we've seen over the years, and this is fishing the area, almost 20 years now, is the first couple of weeks are good. The third week, it's a lot tougher, and it's not because that the fish are there or not there. It's mainly because the water turkey, the cormorant, show up and start driving them down. And then after that, it just becomes hit or miss. So if you're going to fish, in this case, Bethany, I'd focus on the first 2 weeks. By the third week, you have to play that one by ear. I've seen some folks, in fact, I've caught some trout there by accident as late as, I think it was May one year, and I caught it over here at the lower pond. Let me see if I can shift over to that right here, this lower pond. Right? here. I caught some trout there one year, and I caught some trout in this creek, and that's when it was raining real hard. The water overflew, and just caught it by accident. It's going to be 75 degrees on Thursday. Is that not too hot for trout? It'll make them a little bit slower, but bottom line, the water temperature will probably still be chilly enough for them. With rainbow trout, 50, 60 degree water, they'll still be feeding. Even if the temperature's in the 70s, the water temperature still be good enough that they'll still be out moving about. And then it's going to drop on you as well. So don't let the heat, in this case 75 degree weather, slow you down from giving it a shot. Other things to keep in your back pocket is, so this upcoming week is basically at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, a really good opportunity. Let me see if I can show you real quick. Okay, let me go to see our website, Stalker Trout Fishing, and let me get you to that schedule. I want to point out real quick. Let's see. I think I can get it there. Let me just flip through these. Right. I'm looking for the fun with spreadsheets. I need to go down here a little bit more. Bear with me here real quick. Okay, there it is. Fun with spreadsheets. Let's go and look at that one. Okay. And what you're looking for is, let's close that out. There we go. Go to this PDF here. So what's nice about this week, at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, is, look at here, Bethany Park Pond C, December 9. So that's an area one that's going to get stocked here in Collin County, specifically right down here in Allen. Shift over to the next page, and let's see. I saw it here earlier. Okay, right here. Okay, the December 12th, I think, is what I'm looking for here. December 12th, 10, 12. Here it is, right there. Here's one to look for. Pottsboro Lake, December 15. That's another good one to keep in your back pocket, which is just up the road from us. Still, it's in Grayson County, but it's just one up from Collin County. That's a good one to try. The one I'm looking for is Waterloo up in Denison. That's a good one also. And then also right here, Rowlett Community Park North Pond. If you're doing another search on YouTube or on Google, COAF, and then just say Rowlett Community Park, you'll see some of the videos there, some of the information that we posted there. That's another good one, and that's going to get stocked on the 16th, so that's just right around the corner. And then there's that Waterloo Park Pond up in Denison, so that's scheduled for the 17th, December 17th. It's a small pond, but if you really want to learn or get the feel for fishing for trout on using a fly rod, that's usually a good one, because you won't get as frustrated because it's a small pond. So the trout are there, and it's pretty quick to at least hook into one. All right. Do you expect a large crowd? At Bethany, typically there's a fair amount of people that'll show up there. What I'll typically do is I usually fish early morning and then later in the evening. And other times I'll just play by ear. The big thing is if you have the time, it's fun to give it a shot. All right. Let's see. Fly patterns for stock trout. I mentioned it earlier on the call, but I'll just reiterate ones that we like keeping. I like keeping the gold rib hare's ear nymph, as well as rainbow warrior midge, as well as Griffith's gnat, and black midge as trailing flies when we're fishing, be it with a spoon and fly rig or if we're trying to get some of those trout that are hitting on top. Other patterns, it's an olive woolly bugger pattern, but we use it in the near deer pattern. And that was the one I think we showed earlier, but I'll go and pull the one that we had. All right, this is one that doesn't have the rubber legs, but this is an olive near deer, which almost looks like a woolly bugger. Just has a jig head here, and then we'll add those rubber legs to it. So like having that there. And then we'll bring some of these mop flies as well as grab one of these. So the mop fly is one that we've been using on the blue and other ponds right here. It's made with the dust mop little node and an egg sac that's tied around the fly or around the jig head. And then been using the mega worm up at the blue and like having that ready. If they start biting on top and you start seeing the trout starting to porpoise, basically you'll see them rise up to the surface, hit. Let me go and shift back to the other screen here. You'll see them, you'll see like a little bulge in the water, or sometimes that little circle ring, concentric circle. When you see the bulge, they're actually feeding at something just below the surface. They're not actually feeding on something that's on the surface. So you'll just kind of see it kind of like a little bulge, and then it goes back down. So usually that's something that's emerging, coming out of the off the bottom, hatching, but hasn't actually been sitting on the surface. In those cases, that's when those nymphs and midges are working, that you fish just under the surface, work for you. Later on, when you do see them jumping out of the water, or you see those concentric circles, and you definitely see them clearing the surface, or their heads breaking the surface and slurping on some kind of dry, some insect thing, those are good. Start fishing flies dry. And what we like keeping in our back pocket is a Griffith's gnat or a black midge. The big thing is when you match the pattern there, it's not about really the color, as long if it's a dark hatch or dark insect that's emerging or hatching, a dark colored fly pattern, dry fly, would work for you. It's more important to match the size, and we noticed this at Bethany. We also noticed this later on at Frisco Commons over there in Frisco. Is there's some kind of hatch that happens in the evening, and the fish will just be tearing it apart, and everyone else is not biting or getting any bites because they're fishing either bait or lures and whatnot. But those that are using these flies that match that hatch for close to the color but more of the size. So some cases, one year I think I took some size 18 dry flies, and that's all they wanted. And when it broke off and I ran out, I went to a size 14, size 16, and they just ignored it. It was brutal. Let's see. Do bites continue after dark? Not so much after dark when it comes to fly fishing. Usually about 30 minutes after sunset, you got a good opportunity when they're feeding on the surface on whatever's hatching. And then after that, it's time to go shift over to some bait. At least that's what I've noticed. Alrighty. All right. Hopefully this is helpful. Let's see. We got another question. Which stocking do you consider the best out of Frisco Commons, Bethany Lakes, and Town Lake and McKinney? So Bethany Lakes I like because it's close by and it's a quick trip. But it's good for about 2 weeks, and then that third week, like we mentioned, you got to watch for those cormorant. Town Lake has been kind of weird. Over the years, it used to be a consistent stocking, but because the smaller pond, there's a bridge that goes over. In fact, let me go and bring that up here on Google Maps so I can explain what I'm saying. So I can describe as well as illustrate. So let's just let me bring this back out, and then let's go run up to Town Lake in McKinney. So just drag it up here. Up 75. Go past 121. Right there. No, that's not it. Eldorado. I think it's, yeah, there it is. Okay, here is Town Lake. Okay, so when they stock Town Lake, let me bring up the window here, make sure I'm answering the mail here. Okay, so when they stock Town Lake, what they do is they'll cordon off this section here and stock the trout. And it's about maybe 4 feet deep here, maybe. Not very deep at all. And then they'll stock here. What we noticed over the years is this pond has gotten shallower and shallower right here. I guess from all the silt and whatnot from the runoff. And it used to be a fairly consistent bite all along, be it the small pond here or back in this area. But because it got shallow and it gets clobbered with a lot of the greenery still, maybe it won't be so bad this year. Usually you've got about another 1 to 2 weeks there as well to fish. And then the cormorant show up, and then next thing you know, they've eaten everything. So similar to Bethany Lakes, Town Lakes is the same, very similar. The reason why I like Town Lake over Bethany is you can concentrate your fishing in one of these small ponds or one of these sections here, and you can get a quick limit. Other than that, if you're at Bethany, sometimes you may get a quick limit. Other times you're going to have to gut it out and kind of find where they are, or at least adjust. It is a deeper pond at Bethany, so you may have a more opportunity to catch more trout there, or a longer period of time to catch trout before those cormorants start tearing up the place. Frisco Commons, that one is a bigger pond, and let me go and take you there real quick. So we'll just go run over to Frisco. So we'll just take the 121 route right here. Frisco. I think I see it right there's Frisco Commons. Okay, so Frisco Commons is a much bigger pond that is stocked compared to Town Lake is a bigger pond than all three of them together. But because they cordon off that area at Town Lake, it's a smaller area where the trout are going to be stocked. At Frisco, it's a lot bigger, and you'll have to kind of look and kind of find the pattern and whatnot. And what we notice is they'll typically release the trout here, and because it happens, I think it's like February, March time frame. What happens is it's a much colder time frame. I've been out here when it was so cold we could see the trout kind of just lumbering about really slowly, lethargic almost. We saw some folks actually using dip nets and was able to snag some of those. But I like Frisco also. Just you got to find what the pattern is. Sometimes I'll bring super dupers out there and just kind of cast to the middle. Other times I'll just fly fish around the edges or along the bank area. What's nice here is this whole area along the this bank right here, and you can kind of see where it's kind of shallow here. Well, it's actually, it gets deep in the middle right here, and there's actually a little deep trench-like thing that runs along here. So it's kind of gradual slope, then drops, and then it gets deep again. And right along this whole area here, you'll catch them. And then here it'll shallow out, but you'll see them kind of moving about and whatnot, and you'll have a good opportunity to catch them there as well as over here. But that's going to be later, February, March time frame. So which one do I like the best? For convenience, Bethany. But for I like Frisco. I'll say Frisco, and mainly because it's still a newer lake, deeper. McKinney Town Lake gets beaten up really quickly. Frisco would be my #1 choice. But luckily, everything's spaced out. McKinney's I think, gonna get stocked February March timeframe, so you have to flip flop between the two. But I would go Frisco as my #1 choice. All right. Any other questions? Else, if none, I'll go ahead and end the live stream here. Appreciate those that were able to join today, and hopefully, if any more questions come up and I have the time to do one of these impromptu live streams, I'll definitely pull one together for you. And if you do have any follow-on questions, comments, and whatnot, this will be posted live or available. So in the comments, just put in your question there, and hopefully I can answer them. Or if not, maybe find someone who can answer the question for you. All right, so let me go ahead and shut things down. Appreciate those that were able to join today, and those that join later or after the live stream. Again, definitely can comment, and I can review them and hopefully answer those questions. And if you do like what we're doing, standard comment at the end of these videos. Do like and subscribe. All right, next time we'll catch y'all later, and good luck and good fishing.